Hello and welcome to a special Saturday edition of the Morningscape podcast in YouTube form. That's right. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell. We're here to go through the 9 games on Saturday. Let's get on into it.
You're sitting there looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.
So, DJ, we are 30 minutes prior to the 1 p.m. Sabres game. What are your thoughts on this Saturday of hockey?
Yeah, it's big slate. Every slate's been a big slate for 2 weeks straight now. Good games, bad games, but a lot of games to win money on. So let's just, I think we probably, with only 30 minutes till the first game, probably want to jump right into things. Unless if there's anything else you want to cover overarching.
Yeah, the Nashville game is a bit strange. They moved it from a 3:30 start to a 1:30 start due to weather. I believe the rest of the games are either in locations that, have the capacity to deal with the oncoming snow, or they're out of the picture. But just keep an eye on that. I'm looking at St. Louis. I don't know what their expected weather situation is. And otherwise, tomorrow, I think there might be some nonsense afoot, although it looks like all the games are in Canada, which makes sense, I guess, with the NFL. So I think we're good until at least Monday as far as like true weather cancellations, but it is looking pretty crazy out there. If you've not gotten to a grocery store yet and you're in an affected area, good luck. It was picked clean, days ago. So pretty interesting stuff going on, but we do have a 7-game late slate and a 2-game early slate.
I will say one thing on that. It's kind of funny that like Buffalo's probably going to get more snow than anywhere. It's just so much better and equipped to deal with it that it just hasn't felt like there's been any. Like I went to the grocery store on Thursday, probably slower than it's been in a while, and it's like we're about to get like 1.5 feet of snow, and it's like 1.5 feet. Who cares?
I was at the store yesterday, and literally looked like a bomb went off at Aldi. Like just boxes everywhere on the floor, like just everything's gone. There's no bread.
Shelves.
Yeah.
I know it's I did hear about the Nashville thing with someone on a call was talking about like they were outside that area and they're like, it's about to be like the worst winter storm ever. And I'm like, huh? Like I don't know. The winter was really easy and then it got very, if I like outside right now, it is sunny here in Buffalo. If I open the blinds behind me, real feel -5 and dropping. So it's not great. I went to hockey last night, and like when you walk into an ice rink and it's warmer than the outside air, it's not a good sign. Good skate, but like you can feel it when you're breathing. You're like, this is that level cold, advanced cold.
Oh yeah.
But we talk about the coldest team in the league first, the Buffalo Sabres on the road on Long Island at 1:30 in a game that I don't really want to spend too much time on because I don't like this game for a few different reasons. Like it just doesn't. There's no one shooting in this game. Over the last 5, the highest shot guy is Anders Lee with 6.6, and you could spread that out to 10 or whatever. But the more you kind of spread that wealth, the more you're probably going to be getting numbers that are going to include players that are incredibly impactful, like Bo Horvat. The Sabres are pretty, like they're just not dependable. And if there's no one that I feel incredibly comfortable, and what I mean by dependable is there's not a dependable guy or line that is going to get the lion's share of one work or another. They're rolling 4 lines. They're winning games. They are not, riding the coattails of any one player. Of course, Tage Thompson has been the most important with 8 points in the past 5 games. That is certainly getting the job done, but I just don't see anything here that I'm incredibly high on. I like the other game a lot more from a DFS perspective. I think there's a couple things to take a peek at betting wise, but I'll pause here, let you talk about the Sabres for a sec.
Yeah. The Sabres do get a bit of a gift. David Riddick confirmed to start. No Ryan Pulock for the Islanders, so they do get Bo Horvat back, like you mentioned. Tage certainly is the kingpin of this team. Like, I'm not sure how you're building a Buffalo roster without Tage on it if you're playing DFS. If you're looking for the other end of things, I think Bo Byram's a bit interesting. I want to see what their D pairs look like, but it seems like Byram's going to play with Kesselring, which is where we termed Power to play at the beginning of the year, and that just seems good. No Jacob Bryson, so the third pair probably gets a bit buried minutes wise, so it could just be a 5-man rotation. With Metza just not playing at all. I do think minutes, though, condense pretty heavily, and Byram has the nice mix of offensive upside and PK usage and whatnot that I like for a low price tag. And I don't even know if he's offered for anything on the books, but that's just a name that stood out to me. So
it's offered for points and stuff. I was wondering actually blocks might be. Nah, it's only Pellick.
In any case, though, Doan, Tage, Tuck, Benson, Ostlund, Hellenius, Zucker, McLeod, Quinn all make sense. We don't have enough sample on Hellenius to know how he's been getting there, but just based on his prospect profile and his dominance early on, I would not be surprised if he won like Ryan McLeod's power play job at some point, but that point is not yet. So like Ostlund is 3,100. He just hasn't been shooting enough to be like really relied upon. But yeah. I don't know are they offering anything lagging on his power play points plus 550. I don't know.
I was gonna say it had been there and not there and stuff. Yeah, I mean honestly, it just closed. We'll see if it comes back, but a bunch of stuff just closed. They're probably just getting lineups.
More months, probably
something just probably changed. Is Pellick blocks actually like more interesting than meets the eye? What's the go with the Islanders roster?
Yeah, let's go over to the Islanders. Isaiah George replacing Ryan Pulock in the lineup. Scott Mayfield moves up to the Schaefer pairing. So it's Mayfield to be the guy that I looked at first. For that.
He'll get a bigger role, but like, do you know? I mean, just if you had to take a guess on Adam Pellick's blocks, what would you take a guess that line's at?
I have no idea if Ryan Pellick's been blocking pucks. 1.5 minus 125.
Yeah, 1.5 minus 110. So, okay. So hold on. We just got lines. Schaefer, Mayfield. Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so you were right. Lee, Barzal, Duclair.
Yeah, we were told all this.
Okay, so yeah, it is what we expected. When the sports books take everything off the board basically for the Islanders and put it back on, I guess they just weren't aware. I don't know. I really think that Pellick blocks is probably the most of note. If anything else, I'd probably go to a point prop, but I really don't see anything jumping off the screen to me. Like Dahlin minus 120 feels good, but he just doesn't seem to be the same player. There's at least a feeling that there's an injury concern there. Like he went down at the end of last game and then had a maintenance day, and he seems to be on the ice, I assume. But I mean, this game is just like, you have to have a 9-leg parlay, which normally I would, but I might just take this game off because whatever. But I think Pellick blocks is probably the move here. And then in the DFS space, I think you're kind of spot on with the Sabres being either a bit overpriced or I think potentially overowned is more the concern in my estimation of some of these cheaper pieces. But what are you really spending up on this 2-game slate? There's not. It's Gunther, it's Forsberg, it's Tage. So I don't know. I mean, do you really need to punt Noah Ostlund, who is just entirely driven on efficiency with 1 shot, 1 goal type stuff? Any other thoughts here?
I certainly prefer the power play angle of Ostlund stuff. My lineup does not contain any Sabres besides Tage. I can confirm that. Alex Lyon confirmed starter. There you go. We were not sure of that, so cool.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take a peek.
All right. Lee, Barzal, Duclair for the Islanders. Drouin, Horvat, Heineman. Other line. What's interesting is that they kind of nuked the power play. Drouin, Horvat, Schaefer, Holmstrom, Ritchie is the top unit, and Lee, Barzal, Duclair, Heineman, D'Angelo the second unit. Schaefer's certainly been on the decline offensively over the last month or so. Hard to say why that is exactly, but it's not looked the same. It's not been the same. They certainly are not scoring as much. So the power plays maybe needed the change, but without Barzal and Horvat together, it's tough. And again, you're looking at the same deal where the others value Holmstrom, Richie, Druin are all 3.3K or below, but like I don't trust any of them. Horvat, I wouldn't trust the expected numbers shown here. I think there's only a game or two in this sample, and I think that's when he got hurt. So his season's been excellent, but 7,600, is he going to get there on his own? Like, which guy is he going to carry with him? I don't think Druin has a 5-on-5 goal this year. So that's concerning if you're trying to play Bill Horvat with a line mate. I think, honestly, what I would do is just Horvat Heineman. Yeah, they're not the same power play, but they'll probably split power play time, and Heineman's just been really good. And he's been one of their most consistent players all year and remains just 4,300. Anything in the betting space stand out too for the Islanders?
Yeah, I'm just making a little tweet to say we're live and betting some stuff. I mean, I really think it's the Pelech thing. He has 9 blocks in the last 5 games, so it feels like a coin flip, and that's what the sportsbooks are offering. But that's not including a bigger role. And I mean, like, it's going to be Pelech getting as much penalty kill time as possible, which was already the case. And then Mayfield, I would love if they offered Mayfield because wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know what changes for Pelech here that like it makes him, your guy, but
I just think that's like I just think it's a fair offer. I don't think I'm not going to go to war for it, but it's a real fair price. I think you're getting a guy that, like, I mean, the minutes aren't going to go to the moon and back, but even as it was last game, 22 minutes, like you're kind of, I think, getting that again, if not more, and stranglehold on the defensive zone. Like Schaefer will get some of that run because he's just out there a ton. D'Angelo's his partner, which doesn't bode incredibly well, but Mayfield and Pelech are the only 2 guys left. Like Boakvist, George, like these are not guys that they're going to want out there in defensive zone situations. So
let's hold on. Look at these Tony DeAngelo numbers. 9 expected fantasy points, 9.5 actual last 10. You look at his game logs.
Interesting note there.
20, 3, 0, 11, 21, 11. His last 6 games. So not a bad option there. I don't know if he's offered for anything because again, these power play units should now be split. So he might actually be the guy that I'm interested in.
Also, Stoners in here talking about Krebs anytime goal, easy money. I believe, like, I don't know what percentage exactly it is, but his amount of goals that are empty net goals are compared to like his total is like, I think it's upwards to like 60%. Like it's insane. He's like second in the league at empty net goals. And then the Duclair thing feels very fragile with Bo Horvat returning.
Right. But Tony D is plus 170 for a point on DK, best in market. I'm actually going that route. Started off with an early Tony D tout. Yikes. Let's get on to the next game unless you have anything you want to wrap up with. Did I lose DJ? Okay, I might have lost DJ. Let's go over to that next game, Utah, Nashville. No expected changes for Utah here. Keller, Schmaltz, Kraus. Kraus did miss practice, but it was called maintenance, so keep an eye out for that here. Peterka, Hayton, Daniil Boot. I believe Peterka went on to the second power play and Hayton to the top unit last game. DJ, are you back?
Yeah, I'm gonna blame the cold on the Wi-Fi going out for a second. Wi-Fi just went out for 10 seconds. I don't know.
Makes sense.
It went from perfect bars to 0 and then came back.
Tony D point just moved to plus 175. So there you go. There's your official Tony D tout.
You know what? Color me betting that for fun because I'm going to be
just stupid enough to work.
It's 165 and ones. Actually, I'm gonna check all the books quick.
I looked on unabated.
Oh, you did?
It's best on DK.
All right, Tony DeAngelo point. I'm gonna put just a nice little 25 down on it. Okay, yep, I like it. All right, we move on to game 2 as you've already started. Top line's been great. Then everything else is sort of a mismatch. I mean, I know you're big third line boy. I mean, Jack McBain is a legitimate player. I think we just need. We've been saying that. I know you've been saying it more than anybody else probably on this big old green and blue marble. Are you between the two? Like, I don't know. Again, I don't have a lineup in this early slate. Just been dealing with some other shit that I just kind of decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna not skip this one and focus on the late slate. So if I was gonna make a lineup, I feel like it would just be Gunther, Carconi, and then just Keller Schmaltz. But you don't need to play that early game. Is my kind of point. Maybe you even do look at it, D'Angelo, as like a one-off from that game. You got to get something over there probably. Maybe one other cheap piece, and then kind of game stacking this one would be my angle. But how would you attack Utah?
Yeah, I mean, certainly around Gunther would be my angle. Keller and Schmaltz have been excellent though, so I can't really dispute that angle. It's just, it's tough. I had these priors, and Keller Schmaltz were kind of weak down the stretch, and then the last 2 weeks they've been they've been literally awesome. Keller puts a team on his back against the Flyers. So if you can keep that going into a matchup with Nashville, then yeah, it wheels up. I do think I want to be rather light on Utah. I mean, this is a 11:30 body clock start for them. I mean, it's 12:30 for Nashville, so it's not, that different, but it's a very weird circumstance here. I don't know how much to sort of, weigh that versus Buffalo Islanders. It's a much easier travel. There's no stress of like, hey, are we going to be frozen over with ice? Like, because it's not just snow in the South. It's the ice that's really like going to destroy the South. And like, that's like literally hitting them, I think, as the puck drops pretty much. So it's a little weird, like feeling wise, to be like, yeah, this is a game that's going to go crazy. So I don't know how to weigh that, because by the rainbow chart, both games look pretty good. It's not like one game outweighs the other. Maybe there's a little bit more Corsi pace at 5-on-5, but I don't, I watched all these teams pretty closely. Maybe not the Islanders so much lately, but I don't necessarily think the Sabres are, unwilling to play a track meet style.
I agree. Yeah, I think the going over these two games, game one and game two, from a goals perspective, isn't that insane. But I think from a pace perspective, like you're saying, and the shots volume is much different, which is why the shots I just sort of threw in the trash can in the first game. And I'd look at here. Now, from a DFS perspective, I don't think there's one team that I'm to the moon and back on. I think if it was, it honestly would be Nashville over anybody else. If I was playing Utah, though, I guess my point is I'm not dipping my toes in on Utah. I'm jumping into the deep end. Like, there's nothing else to spend on. There's plenty of options to get cheap with. So there's an angle here on the 2-game slate. I think from a betting market perspective, I don't know if there's anything that like on the Utah side seems incredibly cheap. Like all of these point props are pretty high. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, is Hayton for a power play point anything? Let's look. 420.
I think so. Gunther is -150 on DK for a point. I expect that to move because his like over underline is -162. So maybe jump on that if you are into the Gunther experience.
Again.
Dylan Gunther is -150 in the alt market for points, and he's -162 in the over. So there's 12 point value right there. That's definitely best in market.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably, I saw 162 and I didn't see the 150. I thought that was pretty, equidistant across the space. I think, that's probably the move then. And if anything else, I mean, are you a Lawson Krause guy? I think that's the guy that people are probably going to flock to.
Yeah.
Like from like an ancillary perspective. Yeah.
I get the appeal. I mean, he's a big body. Obviously Keller Schmaltz are talented enough, and that if Krause can just keep up. And it seems like he certainly is for the time being. He's kind
of Alexi Protasing, if you catch my drift. Is that fair to say?
I mean, he gets power play time, so.
Okay. I mean, from like
he's super Protasing.
Like a results perspective, it's like 3.4 shot attempts in the last 5. And again, I'm really going to use last 5 because that's about when he got this top line roll. But 71% of those shots are getting on the goalie. It's like that kind of makes sense, but I feel like you're really playing a thin game. Like, he's clearly not the guy that's going to be skating the puck into the zone very often. So you're really like, if you watch the game and you've bet Lawson Krause for shots, you are going to just be very angry for most of the game and very happy if he just somehow gets to bang a few in front of the net. So I'm probably out on him myself. I think obviously if you're playing DFS and you're playing Keller and Schmaltz, you can certainly throw him in. He is efficient, shooting more than guys like Noah Ostlund. So 4K is doable. But yeah, I think I like the Gunther point angle. I don't really like anything from betting too much. Let's get over here. The second line's really the first line. I mean, I guess you have to put Steven Stamkos on the top line because you're you. But the Evangelista, O'Reilly, Forsberg line has been everything and more. O'Reilly is just a different player. As of 12 points in the last 5 games is gonna jump off the page. That will help. I feel like every time I pull up the betting card, I just see him at, what is he now? What do you think he is? If you don't know, you know what his point prop is off the top of your head?
I'm gonna guess minus 190.
Minus 200. Wow, you are really on the ball today. That's just always kind of whoa, like, and you look and you're like, oh shit. Well, I mean, when you got 12 points in the last 5 games, that's gonna happen. So, are you still Steven Stamkos through and through? Are you thinking this top line has just done something different? And
yeah, I mean,
take advantage of a traveling Utah team on a weird game.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. And it's like anytime you're telling me that Stamkos is a similar expected output to the rest of his teammates, it just seems like he's going to be the guy that beats that more often than not. It's nice to see that Forsberg is back in the picture. You know, there was a time a few weeks ago we were looking at it. Yeah, it's like 7 expected points per game, and Stamkos and Evangelista are shooting way more than him. That's not been the case lately, so maybe that was just a minor slump. He seems to be back. I don't mind going to the top line here, but 17K for Evangelista, O'Reilly, Forsberg, I almost prefer. You talked about the Kraus, Keller, Schmaltz of it all. Like, they have like 6 more expected fantasy points, and I think also 6 more actual over the last 10. And like, I don't know that the home matchup really does that too much difference for me, because I want to play Roman Josi if I'm playing Nashville. He seems like he's patrolling the ice again. He's just rounding in the form prior to the Olympics. Stamkos is out there just doing his thing, and you get cheaper line mates for Stamkos if you want in Howla and Bunting. You can even play Jonathan Marchessault, where if this game goes back and forth, you can see Marchessault sort of either rearranged in the lineup or mixing in with the top 6. He's just 3,200. I like that. That just feels like a mispricing on Marchessault, and so therefore you get some cheaper options than the top line in Nashville, where I do like the upper end spend, and the other 3 teams more. So
I have no problem. I mean, I think there's 3 guys in this game. If you're going to kind of do the DJ classic of boosting shots, Forsberg being one of them, of course, like 8.8 shot attempts per game in the last 5 since this line has gone supernova. 45% of them getting on net, so the price isn't too bad. Over under, I'm 3 on DK. I'm sure you could chop it around, but it's around it's 142. I'm sure you could find it around 140. You could certainly boost that up. Roman Josi's another one. Like, the shot volume's there. It's just a little bit more difficult for a defenseman. Like the way he's playing right now, I'd have absolutely no issue looking to him for shots. And then the other side, we kind of hinted at Michael Carconi, but 6 shot attempts per game, only 33% getting on net is something that could easily flip in your favor. You can get him, 5-1 for 4 shots. I think those are interesting guys in sort of a vacuum. I'm not sure if any of them stand out to you as like, that's probably the angle.
Man, I don't know. My bet here is Gunther point. So I don't know if shots is where I'm going.
I was kind of thinking, like, just for the shits and giggles of it all, if you grab
Josi,
you grab Josi for 3 and Gunther for a point, get that to plus 190. I mean, that could be a fun little way to lose money.
Sure.
I like it.
Yeah, Josi shots is good.
Josi shots, Gunther point. I actually think I'm just going to check it on another book just to make sure, but plus 190 for that feels like you're kind of correlating things that could happen together. Like, if Nashville gets down, they are certainly a team that will throw out the top guys as much as humanly possible, and they start firing at will. So I think this is a decent little angle to jump on, but we can continue to move forward if there's.
Yep. To the main slate, we have 7 games on the main slate, starting with Tampa, Columbus. No expected changes for Tampa. though Jack Finley left last game early, and they called up, I think, Sabarin, so we could see a fourth line change, but who really cares? Hagel, Strelly, Kucherov, obviously the main picture. Gensel, James, Gonsalves are much cheaper than that, but Dominic James and Gage Gonsalves. People, I was just listening to the PDO cast, and Filipovich and Drance are sitting here just fawning over Dominic James, and they did the same thing for Jack McBain, and look what happened there. So this is an interesting elevation for James, also getting power play time now that he hasn't gotten. He has a pretty sterling NCAA record, just dominated. He was overaged. He was 22 playing in college, so it's not like he was a insta stud. But I think James is relatively interesting. Anything else? Obviously Kucherov, Hagel, but any other Tampa thoughts you have?
I mean, it's a back-to-back. That's not something I'm incredibly excited about when it's one of the more expensive stacks in the entire slate. Like, yeah, I don't think there's. I mean, what is there really to add, right? I mean, Gensel and Kucherov and Hagel have been fantastic. Is there any reason to indicate that some of these defensemen might be coming back? I know they were skating. That's kind of what I was sort of circling around right now.
Yeah, McDonough.
See if there's any update.
I feel like I looked through this last night and didn't see anything of the sort. Okay. But I'm not recalling the exact.
Okay, yeah, McDonough, they said will not play this weekend. Okay. I would be pretty surprised on Hedman. So, okay, I thought McDonough was sort of the case. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Just not that it's going to immediately nuke Darren Radish, but just a thought to keep an eye on. Like, it will somewhat impact him at 6,500. The warranted price. The long are the days of 3K Darren Radish. Gone but not forgotten. So yeah, I don't have like a problem because of the matchup against Columbus. Columbus coming off of shutting out and shutting down the Stars, holding them to 28 shots on goal without Mikko Rantanen, of course, but coming off a pretty good game. They've just looked very competent under their new coach. Does that mean that isn't going to flip at some point? Certainly not. And you want to be on that the right day, because I don't think Tampa's going to be very popular. But, getting over to Columbus, I do think that they are a pretty solid team overall. Results may vary. There's something lacking here, but I don't think it's solid enough defensive play at pretty much full health. So I just think that it's tough to play Tampa. I don't know if you have to get so cute on this slate, on technically a 7-gamer, to go all the way in on Columbus, but I do think that there's at least something on Columbus I could be willing to bet. Like, the market will punish Columbus for the matchup. I'm not sure if you're seeing anything or anything of immediate note here, though.
Yeah, the interesting thing coming out of I guess this morning's press conference, I think it was, is that Bonus was fawning over Dmitry Voronkov, who played 8 minutes last game. So there's a lot of room for growth here. But I think he was on the podcast Thursday, where it was like, yeah, Voronkov is he's the odd man out right now. But he was like, yeah, this morning he's going to play power play time. He didn't practice on the power play, so I don't really know what the deal is there, but that's the only thing that stood out to me. Otherwise, it's like, but I think what that does is it makes Marchman a question mark, because I don't know if you're taking Jenner off the top power play. I certainly don't think you're taking Monahan off, and I don't know if Voronkov's replacing a defenseman. They don't play the same role at all. So I do think it makes the top line a bit weaker. I don't want any piece in targeting Tampa, even though Tampa's on the back-to-back, with travel. So it just kind of feels like a stay away on the Columbus end.
Yeah, I mean, Marchenko's been really, really good. I think you could squint and say 2.5 minus 110 is something. Probably minus 135 I see for a point like that. That feels like the only thing I would consider here. Everything. I mean, Charlie Coyle has been fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just not a believer that that's going to be sustainable production that's going to last. He certainly is playing a lot. I mean, the second highest time on ice forward in a 1-0 win against Dallas. I worry in a game where they're trailing that we don't see a bit more of Kent Johnston, who only saw 11 minutes, even though he's on the second line. Like, Sillinger, Olivier, and Coyle are going to play. Like, that's just the bonus way, I guess. And I am liking Bonus for the fact that he's playing Fantilli and Marchenko a lot, but I'm not liking the fact that other playmakers like Ken Johnson are getting kind of diminished in winning games. But that's how he plays.
That's just going to be a game by game thing. And
right,
I think if it's a 5-4
yeah.
lead, like I think Ken Johnson's playing a normal shift. Like the way
agree.
The way that the early usage has come in.
How do you factor that in to like your betting? I mean,
look, Columbus is against Tampa. Just don't play guys against Tampa.
Hold on, I think that's down.
That's a good way to leave it off, I think.
Perfect. That game kind of stinks. We move on.
Montreal heads into Boston. By the way, the rainbow chart for this slate, that's this game, third best on the slate by expected goals, and the last two, Florida, Minnesota, Washington, Edmonton, look like the best by expected goals. By actual goals, Florida, Minnesota, and Montreal, Boston. So don't know what ownership's going to look like, but Montreal, Boston probably should be one of the first places you look. Did we get a Montreal morning skate? I did not. Here we go. 28 minutes ago. Projected lines, pairings. Looks like Texier is back. So there we go. Alexander Texier. Doc down to the Bolduc Evans line. So out goes a Boleno. And everything else looks normal here. So Matheson, Dobson, Hudson, Gooley, Jack-Eye, Carrier. All right. So now we have a fully updated Montreal lineup. Watch this.
Wait, how am I you? Oh yeah, never mind. Okay, sorry. I was looking at the chat while you were talking, and this is I tried to send the link, but I linked this video to both of our YouTubes, so I sent it from both of our YouTubes.
Oh, how nice.
If you want to take a look at the HockeyViz chart that Tom Olsen is kind of, I'm assuming he's referring to here, but yeah, that was true. That they basically glued Goodbranson and Provorov to the Fantilli line, and they glued Werenski and Severson to the Coyle line.
Yeah, that's their shutdown. Yeah, that's their shutdown line. It's
interesting. Okay, it's an interesting note, and I just sent that along. I guess I have control of both of ours. So if I say anything, you say it too. So I'm gonna say butts. I'm just kidding.
I don't even...
Okay, back.
Oh, I see. Because of the comment. Yeah, you can change your. Yeah, okay. I see. Okay.
I can change that. Okay, you're right. I was changing it. But yeah, I did. I linked it to both of our YouTube channels, and it worked, I think.
Yeah. I wonder if the comments go to the same, like if the chat's the same if you're in both. I'm guessing not. But
you think I should just try to link it to like, what's the biggest YouTube channel? Mr. Queef, right? Okay.
No, we got to help the Soulcast get to 10K.
Oh, you're right. I second thought the Soulcast needs it more than anyone. Okay, yeah, let's get back on to the Montreal of it all. So yeah, Texier returning. Let's boy, it's a good game. It's I think really both sides feel pretty strong. Who is the guy? And who do we like? I mean, it's probably the top line again for the 75th time. Second line's getting more expensive. Is Lane Hudson good? I feel like we keep saying no, but then he keeps being good. Does that worry you?
He gets a lot of assists. So if you're stacking Montreal, then Lane Hudson is pretty good. Otherwise, I don't know.
Is Montreal a top stack of the night? What if you know what I'm going to say? Yeah. I'm going to say it. I'm going to be brave. What if you just play Suzuki, Caulfield, Slafkovsky? I mean, like, you just do that. Probably throw in Lane Hudson. I'm pretty interested in Slafkovsky.
Yeah, I mean, Slafkovsky's been really good. The price is reflecting that now a bit more so than in the past few weeks, but 14.3K for this line, 27 expected and 28 actuals. It's right in line with the 2X that I'm looking for. Once again, Suzuki, Caulfield are also right in that range. So,
I think I prefer Slafkovsky might be the bet that and 1.5 shots minus 145 is best. Do you have a preference between him shooting in a game that feels like minorly better for shots versus?
Yeah, I think shots. Yeah,
I think that minus 145 on score. Good. I mean, 154 on DraftKings, 145 on score. I kind of like that. He, 5.5 shot attempts per game, not getting him on net as much as you'd like, but that certainly doesn't feel like his like, I mean, again, 5.5 shot attempts in 5 games, 25 shot attempts, 9 on net. But that's just not the player he is. I don't understand. That just feels like you're kind of, he got very unlucky. And now if that turns at the right time, I really wouldn't mind. This could be a guy I circle for a boot, like boosting his shot, right? I mean, if he gets 6 attempts or 7 attempts, just minorly better, and then we just see those results flip, you're very quickly getting a guy at massive value. Or, well, I mean, value is kind of a weird way to put it. You're getting a guy that, like, I mean, this is sort of part of my process, is finding guys that are shooting, that aren't getting the puck on the net, looking at, well, trying to find a reason why. And if you can't, which I feel like Slafkovsky's a really weird case. I mean, this guy in the last 5 games too has played more than Cole Caulfield by, albeit just under 1 minute of total ice time. But those 2 guys are very, very apparently getting as much ice time as possible over the last 5 games. Even David Pastrnak only got a couple more minutes than Juraj Slafkovsky. Like, he is factoring in a major, major way. I don't think there's any, like, again, like we talked about Ken Johnson for a minute, not in the realm of betting because it's fringe, but Slafkovsky's not coming off the ice no matter what. I think this is a guy to circle, I think, for sure, for betting. And really, like I'm saying, I think in DFS, like, you don't need to play Texier. I think this is a really interesting way of saying, like, if Suzuki and Caulfield get there and Texier isn't involved because he probably isn't scoring, what if the power play kind of clicks or Slafkovsky scores, a goal on his own? I think if you're stacking, this makes quite a bit of sense. And like Lane Hudson, if you can fit it, I'd probably try to find a way. The defense on this team are very involved. So,
yep. And Demidov is basically Lane Hudson, but with less ice time. So
if you haven't watched Montreal in a while, I would highly suggest, if you're playing them or betting them, off create, and then maybe you'll see why I'm even more interested in Slafkovsky, because it's pretty special when it comes together for him, and he's going to be a really special player, and it's probably going to be soon. I think this is definitely something that I'm circling.
All right. Well, the home team here, Boston, they have a guy you may have heard of, David Pastrnak, who is for some reason only 8,700. The dude's been incredible. He's coming off of another 3-point night. I think he put up like 34 DK against Vegas. And the price tag is below 9K. Like, I don't really know what he needs to do to be treated like Kucherov, who is 9.2K. But Pastrnak, I think, is one of the best plays on the entire night. McDavid gets Washington with a back-to-back, so that's maybe an option. And then obviously Kaprizov against Florida and Kucherov, like I just mentioned. But I think I like Pastrnak over all of them. He's just been that good. He's that singular in that you don't need to stack him. You just click him in and, like, you get all the points. Like, I mean, there's almost no way Boston's creating stuff in a good matchup without Pastrnak being just intricately involved. So it starts with David Pastrnak for me. I believe we saw confirmed morning skate lines that this will be their lineup. So Kuznetsov, Lindholm, Pasta. Obviously, Kuznetsov is not a great play, regardless of his cheap price tag. Lindholm is okay. He's been better as of late. 9 expected fantasy points, 10 actual for 4,400 is not terrible. So I do like that. It's a very similar price to Suzuki Caulfield, and I honestly think it'll be less owned despite them being at home here. Middlestat Zaka Arvidsson is incredibly cheap. Arvidsson's been just incredibly shooty. Zaka gets a power play 1 roll, and the full line is 10K with 26 expected and 27 actual between the 3. And that's not super sustainable, but for that price tag, you only need 1 goal to pay off. And again, I like this game, so I think that could happen. Steve's Minton Geeky is also cheap. Geeky was a bit snake bitten, and Steve's is not very good though. So I would certainly prefer the top 6 here. But any Boston thoughts from you?
No, I think you're kind of nailing it. This game is possible to game stack, and I think you just have to have Pastrnak, which makes it a bit more difficult. And in that vacuum, it's like Pastrnak. I think it's probably Pastrnak Lindholm, but I don't even know if I would entirely say you're a moron for doing Pastrnak Arvidsson, other than they're very unlikely to be on the ice together. So you're really trying to, you'll get on a very tightrope. And then you just go the other way with what I said, Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, and then you're punting defense on the line because you're just not getting. I mean, maybe you could get McAvoy. You're probably really not unlikely to get Hudson. Like this game is one of the more interesting on the slate. There's I've already kind of circled some of the bets that I like the most here. On the other side, on this side, it's probably Arvidsson or Pasternak. I mean, Arvidsson 8 attempts per game over the last 5. Just looking at some recent run here, I just it's starting to get priced in a bit more, but not into an insane level. 2.5 minus 115 is an option. Might give that a look, but I worry about his role a lot more than Pasternak. So yeah, I don't know. Something to consider.
How about this stat line for Pasta? Last 10 games, 78 shot attempts, 3.5 expected goals, 4 goals, 15 assists, 12 of which are primary assists. Who is this guy?
He might be good.
Yeah. So if he decides to shoot more, scoring more than 4 goals in those 10 games, he could be even better than this insane run that he's on right now.
I mean, for plus money on 4, I feel like I almost like it more than minus money on 3 for Arvidsson. Just we know the role is definitely to the moon and back. We know he is the focal point. I think I'd just rather go that route in betting. So like if you are building a same game parlay for whatever reason, this game is really interesting. So yeah.
All right. Carolina at Ottawa. Carolina looks like they will be without Eric Robinson through the Olympic break, and Shane Gostisbehere we do not have any sort of update on. So it seems like Nikishin's just keeping this job for the time being. What has Slavin's minutes been like? I feel like he's been playing his normal 20 minutes a night, and there's not a ton of meat left on like before we were looking at 23 minutes the last 2 games for Slavin. Because before he was getting eased in and the minutes elsewhere were going up because of that. But Nikishin now 17 minutes and 16 minutes the last 2 games. Power play 1 though against Ottawa. They allow goals to everyone. Even if there's only 10 shots, like Jake Sanderson likes to remind us. Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis, Hall, Stankoven, and Blake, Martinuk, Stahl, Ehlers. Same power play nonsense between Stahl and Ehlers. So any immediate lean on Carolina, whether you're looking to save money, spend up, Nikishin, all the things.
Yeah. If you had a broken record of things we say the most on this show, I think I can get away with not playing Carolina and winning in DFS, no matter what everything tries to tell you. And finally, the numbers are trying to tell us they're not a good play. So the only logical explanation to what this game's going to do is Ottawa's goaltending is going to once again take a giant shit on our chest as I fade them again in the worst matchup imaginable for both teams. So this game looks just absolutely doo-doo diapers. I could not have less interest in it. But if I was ever going to get buried, this is the time. I mean, we have escaped many a game where Carolina, I don't remember exactly how chalky they were against the Blackhawks. I just remember not playing them and being rewarded by losing anyways. We now look at a game like this is really the 2 teams at 5-on-5 that do the best job. Both of them on the same token, maybe some score effect factors as sometimes they get down down in games, so they're better defensively as the other team is not taking maybe as much volume. But I don't even think that's leading to these results as much as these 2 teams are just very good in general. There's nobody in this game, unless if Gostisbehere is returning, that would be a very, very, very big surprise, that has more than 6 attempts per game in the last 5. That would be only Sean Walker at 6. Everybody else is below that number, including guys like Brady Tkachuk at 5.5. I just don't see anyone worth betting here. This game is a total cross-out for me. Maybe I will circle back one last time to look, but the point props for players are the only avenue that I'd even try to start to consider. And most of the guys on Carolina, I think, are priced to a number that is very untenable for me to want to click.
Yeah, breaking news, no Lawson Krause for Utah. Yeah. So there goes that idea.
Well, there goes Lawson Krause. Back to Carconi we go. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll read the numbers to you, Matt, and just let me know if you think any of these stand out to you for a point. Minus 225 for Aho, 188 for Jarvis, 162 for Svechnikov, and then do I really need to talk about anybody else? Like, Do any of those numbers sound like value? Like, I don't think so.
What is Nikishin? Oh, he's not offered. Okay.
Not offered. I was going to say, I don't think he's offered at all. I bet it last time, and he had a tertiary assist, of course.
Then I guess Svechnikov, but yeah, for me, this is, I'm probably just playing Nikishin in DFS. Again, he's sub 4K power play role.
I mean, if he pops up for something, I would take a peek. I dip my head back up, and I think it's point over shots, as I already said. But if he's plus 125, 130 again, or whatever it was, like, peek my head up again. I mean, like, he is a very legitimately good offensive producing defenseman, and he's going to be involved in that role as much as they can allow it. With Keandre, Slavin, Walker, Chatfield, like, he only played 16 minutes, but that was very primarily in an offensive role where they scored twice when he was out there. So,
yeah, I just don't think we need minutes. Yeah, that's
no, exactly.
The story. On the Ottawa side, we got lines this morning: Batherson, Stützle, Giroux, Tkachuk, Cousins, Greg, Zetterlund, Pinto, Amadio, Cousins, Eller, Halliday, Sanderson, Zub, Chabot, Spence, Clevin, Matimpalo. Matimpalo in for Nick Jensen, which was the big shakeup, I guess, that we were all promised, with James Reimer confirmed to start. This is one of many revenge games for Reimer, right? He did play in Carolina. Am I making that up?
I think so. Okay. He played for a lot of teams.
He did, yes.
I will look while you talk.
All right. So as long as it's not Pride Night, there's a nice narrative there for Mr. Reimer. No, definitely not. I mean, it's a matchup with Carolina. It's close to a matchup with Tampa, though Ottawa at home. I do feel like Carolina's a bit more susceptible, and this top line is relatively cheap. It's $15K for a Stützle top line with 2 power play 1 guys and Claude Giroux. So for $15K, you're getting 26 expecteds and like 12 or 22 actual, so it's not the best. And then I think Ridley Gregg lost his power play job last game. So Tkachuk, Cousins have been pretty good together, but I don't know. If I were doing anything, it might be a Drake Batherson one-off and just hope that he can sort of snap out of whatever funk he's in. Jake Sanderson, also a good play. He's been very good as of late. 6,400 doesn't really do a ton for me, but at least noteworthy, especially with no Nick Jensen. And you're sort of looking at Spence, Clevin, Matimpalo. Like, are those guys really going to be trusted to play 18, 19 minutes? I'm not sure. So you could see a 30-minute Sanderson game.
Yeah, it's all around way too expensive. The worst matchup of the night and the worst game of the night. I don't think I'm not doing it myself. Like, but if I was doing it, if I did do it, it would be what
OJ.
You said.
OJ Mitchell over here, everyone.
I did write a book called "If I Did It." So
yeah,
let's move on to
a book.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. All right. Detroit heads into Winnipeg. Detroit, do we have morning skate from these guys? Also, what did Detroit do last game? They lost in a shootout. Overtime.
Yeah, to Minnesota.
Lost in overtime. All right, here we go. Edvinsson ruled out. So
again,
that's no other news posted. So I'm guessing everything else remains the same. Casper, Larkin, Raymond, DeBrincat, Kopp, Kane, JVR, Comfer, Finney, Soderblom, Rasmussen, and Appleton. JBD, Jacob Bernard Docker, went along next to Mo Seider last game, leaving Chirot and ASP together. And then Johansson, Hamonic on the third pair. Are you looking at how minutes played out without Edvinsson? I'm wondering if JBD didn't play at all, or if he actually 19. Got some run. Okay.
Sandin Pellikka only played 13, so
yeah, because that's the thing. Okay, so Albert Johansson maybe is
he played 20. He's the first over the boards, maybe ish. I mean, Seider, Chirot, and Johansson are the first over the boards in the PK. Like, it doesn't. I'm guessing it's probably a bit.
You know what? That is I think just Ben Chirot. If you're looking for a punt in DFS, it's
such a sick individual.
I mean, sometimes you just got to get 6.9 DK points, and I think Chirot can get us that.
Nice. I mean, one thing I was actually like looking. I think what night was that? Was that Thursday night that they last? Yeah, Thursday night. And I was looking through a few numbers before this last game because I had nothing in it, and I kind of liked it for a couple different reasons. And I had seen that like the number one guy on the Thursday slate for block shots was Edmondson. Like, that's interesting. Like, maybe I'll take a deeper look here, and then he didn't play. So
turns out blocking shots you can get hurt.
So it seems like that may have factored into him getting hurt. So Sherratt, Seider, Johansson, like any of these guys might be of note. Seider's the only one offered right now that I can find. I might look it unabated quickly and see if Ben Sherratt is offered for block shots. Really the lowest of the low moments of my entire life. But the answer is no.
Okay.
I'm guessing Albert Johansson, but like that I think is always a really interesting angle and like a very, very under tapped into market, taking very underappreciated players that are getting bigger roles, but those roles directly correlate to success. Like I'm always searching for that. It's just unfortunate that these dastardly sports books don't give me the goods. I'm gonna probably take another look that way in DFS. I'm interested in Detroit. I would probably go through DeBrincat. 9.5 shot attempts per game is, I believe, maybe the highest on the slate.
I think it's the highest in the league. So
let's take a peek at the league. It is the highest in the league, just sneaking in over Cale Makar. So I think that's hard to ignore. In a matchup against Winnipeg that doesn't petrify me, but I also think is good. Good in the way that I think Winnipeg is pretty sound defensively overall. I don't know. I mean, what about Marco Kasper? Are we getting back on the Marco Kasper train?
That is what I'm currently trying to construct an argument for.
Plus 155
so
at best.
Marco Kasper has played 51 games in the NHL this season, and he has 1 goal and 5 assists. I think. Well, actually, I can look at that I'm looking at the R thing, and I guess I can do the whole shebang on DK with their game or with their player card.
Plus money for plus 105 for 2 shots, plus 155 for a point.
Where I was going is he had 5 primary assists all season long in 51 games. He has 3 of them in the last 5 games. His shot rate has ticked up a touch. He hasn't done much yet, but we're looking at 8.4 expected fantasy points last 10. 5.4 actual, so some regression is inbound, and he's sticking with Larkin and Raymond, getting that second power play time as well. That stuck last game too. Yep, so that's really the only sort of argument I could give in favor of the Larkin line. Even the Brinkett line was glued to Mo Seider last game, so there's like even more reason to like DeBrincat, and possibly the reason DeBrincat's now shooting a ton because they actually have the puck, unlike when Ben Sherratt's out on the ice. So I don't love the game is the real problem. It's a Winnipeg game, so that's that. Anything else here on Detroit? I think I'm all Detroited out.
I'm really debating if I'm considering including a Marco Kasper for 3 shots at like 4-1 in my crazy parlay. That's probably it. He's also plus 155. That's best on DK for a point. It's like, is that just better? I'm gonna debate. I do want to take a look at Detroit and make sure they're not going to do anything goofy, but they just practiced, and Edmonton will not play. Anything about lines?
No,
I think
nothing.
we know. I have to assume it's going to stay the same.
I was looking to lead things off. I talked through the whole thing.
No, I know you said this. I'm saying, did they actually say if lines are the same? And I don't think so.
No.
Oh. Okay. I'm sorry. My apologies for trying to give the people good and valuable information. I won't do it again.
Okay. Well,
let's talk about Winnipeg.
We can do it once instead of twice. I think that's fine.
Fair enough. Sikorsky and Marco Kasper is sort of getting into my crazy insane parlay. That's a good start always. Okay, Winnipeg.
Stoner's going off about shit. We're talking about ASP getting sent down. It's all going off the rails in the MSP chat here. So thanks everyone for hanging out with us as we go through the final 4 games, or I guess 3.5 games, because we have Winnipeg. So getting to the Winnipeg side, Connor, Scheifele, Iafallo, Perfetti, Taves, Velarde, Nemestikov, Lowry, Niederreiter, Pearson, Barron, Kepke is how they skated this morning. Logan Stanley keeping power play 2 duties. Cool. Good for him. It is fun watching him out there actually on the power play. Got to admit, I did not expect to enjoy that as much as I did. But, it's still just the Perfetti show on the second unit because Nino, Nemestikov, and Iafallo certainly aren't helping create anything. Top line is expensive, of course. Iafallo's pretty garbage. Second line again, just come on down, pump it into my veins. 11.4K for Perfetti, Taves, Velarde, and they have 27 expected fantasy points and 23 actual. That's good numbers, even if they aren't quite meeting their expected. So for me, it's only Winnipeg too. Otherwise, I'm not chasing anything with the top line here, especially since I expect them to be matched up with like Mo Seider and DeBrincat.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that we obviously talked about ad nauseum, but let's get back to it. I mean, this Detroit team lost, in my opinion, you know what? I will say, in reality, their second most important defenseman, but I think maybe just as impactful defensively in Simone Edmondson is sort of what I was getting to. And now they're replacing that usage with Albert Johansson, Jared Bernard-Docker, who is a scratch, even on Buffalo last year, and the corpse of Ben Sherratt. So that definitely intrigues me, especially when there's so much production between 2 lines. One of those lines not really going up in price, that's Taves, Velarde, Perfetti line, and the other one having one of the most explosive goal scorers in the entire league in Kyle Connor. Connor, Scheifele, Iafallo, I will not follow the Iafallo train. Might just go Connor, Scheifele, Velarde, Morrissey, or even just Connor, Scheifele, Morrissey. Like, that might be a DFS favorite of mine. I don't think it's going to be piled on. I think people respect Detroit too much. They're really not great defensively before this injury. I don't expect them to be better with this injury. I also think for, one of my guaranteed goals should just factor into Kyle Connor. Like, he might be one of the better bets on that front. I think even Mark Scheifele is interesting with the way he's able to score, a lot of goals and not a lot of shots. He's just a very efficient goal scorer. So I kind of like this line quite a bit from a DFS perspective, more than I like it from a betting perspective. I think you could, I just don't think I'm betting either of them for minus 225 or 255 for a point. So is there a guy outside of that you like? Wait, let's take a peek here.
Well, I'm looking at his last game, how they deployed against a loaded top 6 in Florida.
Eviscerated Florida.
Yeah, Lowry ate Bennett's breakfast and Scheifele ate Lundell's breakfast, and that was a pretty hard match. So, that to me just says they're going to get Scheifele out against Mo Seider and DeBrincat and use Lowry against Larkin. So, again, that leads me to Taves, Velarde, but I don't know. I get Kyle Connor. He's 7,700.
Well,
he's certainly
it depends what other stacks you're gonna play. Like I'm kind of, obviously if you're playing the most expensive players on the slate, Taves, Velarde will fit like a glove. And if you're aping into the Kyle Connor,
Jonathan Taves is so back.
I'm not arguing this.
Nobody
is sitting here arguing. Is he shooting? No. But is he good? Maybe. I'm in on either. I'm very in on either. I think that I like Winnipeg more than the average bear. I definitely think for the 4-leg boosted parlay, I will be including either Kyle Connor or Mark Scheifele in what I actually bet. But if I wasn't going to include those two, is there a third guy you like? I mean, is it just very obviously Velarde?
I don't see how it's not Taves.
You're such a guy. Okay.
Like, their power play is just cooking Taves in the middle. It's like, hey, Taves, you want to try and score? And he's like, yes, please. And that's where they're setting everything up. So,
he says that.
I don't know. Works for me.
Moving on.
LA at St. Louis. Do we have any LA news? No, we do not. So,
I don't think so.
I just projected the same as last game, though Kopitar and Moore are both on the trip, and I think Moore mixed in at practice, so we could see him come in pretty much anywhere in this godforsaken lineup. Kempe, Laferriere, Perry, Fogle, Byfield, Armia, Fiala, Turcotte, Kuzmenko, Jeff Malott, Hellenius, Taylor Ward. D pairs remain the same. Drew Doughty will be back. It's a 1-game absence due to illness. He will be back. That was confirmed yesterday, so would be very surprised to see that change. That means, I don't know. DJ, are you playing LA here on the road in St. Louis? Because I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple teams that I feel like I continuously go back to the well for in every way possible, in every capacity. LA is one of them that I will go to the mat for every single night. And the only player I think that it is of major note is probably Corey Perry in the over, everything that's going on here. I think he is, back and playing a pretty significant side of the coin, of the role in everything that's going on. Everything else is kind of the same. I don't think I'm playing them in daily fantasy. I don't know how to stack it correctly. I definitely would, Kempe, Perry, Clark is probably how I would do it. Kempe, the shooting is back, which is really good to see. I love Laferriere. Of course, right now, we don't know everything that we need to know to make a final decision because Laferriere could be out of that role if Kopitar is back. I mean, Perry could be out of his role if Kopitar is back. So tough to say anything here until we have more information. We won't have that information until likely pretty close to game time. So I think I don't think there's anything shot wise that I'm jumping off the board to grab. And then, Kempe minus 150 for a point is fine. Like St. Louis does suck, but Brant Clark plus 126. Then again, what if Kopitar is back and they actually just, take Clark off the top power play? That could be the guy who loses spot. It's so hard to say. This team is just the coach is such a fucking donkey.
Just don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. I think that's probably the answer.
For St. Louis, their lines yesterday were pretty interesting. Berggren, Shen, Snuggerud, Stenberg, Dvorsky, Joseph, Neighbors, Buchnevich, Kyrou, Toropchenko, Bukestad, Fabry. Power plays, Neighbors, Buchnevich, Kyrou, Dvorsky, Falk. So full correlation with the Neighbors, Buchnevich, Kyrou line for just 12K on that top line, 24 expected fantasy points. Not nearly as many actual, 19 actual. It's a big yikes for me. But yeah, that means Snuggerud is not going to be first over the boards on the power play. He's been their main shooter. So I don't know. I don't know why you would play anyone on St. Louis. Holloway, by the way, seemingly re-aggravated a high ankle sprain, which is very bad.
Just so fucking so, yeah.
And yeah, I don't see anything here that I like. Dvorsky scored last game. That was cool, but that's about it.
Cool. I honestly I think we're getting to a point with Colton Prieko where he is playable. He's shooting. He's obviously out there a ton. He blocks pucks. Yep. He is 3,800. He does get a power play role, right? No, is he not getting any power play role right now? Really?
I don't think he's gotten one all year.
Yeah, but they suck. Broberg will be more, I think, appealing to people because of the power play role, but results matter. Prieko's doing everything, but he has 0 points in the last 5 games. So these numbers are basically just all shots plus blocks. And those are guys I like to bet on. 13 blocks, 12 shots on goal in the last 5 games for Colton Prieko. And he's just dropping like a rock in price because he's not getting the point production. Why is he not getting the point production, Matt? You may be thinking to yourself, this team fucking blows. Right. That's it. Okay. So I don't really I think it's a one-off or nothing with Snuggerud or Prieko. And I honestly might take another look at Prieko for blocks and shots.
2 games remaining. Florida at Minnesota is next up. I mentioned earlier that the Rainbow Sheet pegs these 2 games as looking pretty good. Florida top line remains the same. Second line remains the same. Bottom 6 looks normal. Maybe Vilmanis instead of Studnicka and Cole Schwint. So that's great. Yeah, that's it. And the top 6 is all that I'm interested in here. And what's interesting is that with Minnesota, they really only have one shutdown D pair right now, and that's Hughes Faber. So whichever of these lines doesn't get that line, I kind of have some interest in. But I don't know how they're going to play it. Like, I don't know if Winnipeg putting out Lowry against Bennett was like their top line, or if they looked at Reinhart Lundell as the top line and Scheifele. So like it's kind of hit or miss. You might want to use the roster report to guarantee that. But yeah, anything from Florida stand out to you?
Yeah, I was really interested in Florida on Thursday. I ended up getting off of it, but I don't, that's not going to keep me away from getting right back on the train here. Like this game, I like this game for both sides for different reasons. I think Florida 2 is very interesting. Like Sam Bennett's been awesome. I think that him playing with Tkachuk and Verhaeghe all in the power play is just like tough to beat at this price. I mean, it has to be a little bit cheaper than playing Carolina in a much worse matchup. It's cheaper than most stacks. I think that my final call here is just throw Reinhart in with it and punt with Winnipeg is a really like interesting way to build on this slate. Minnesota is really good, but and they're supposed to be getting Matt Boldy back actually too with Erickson. I mean, it's a tough hill to climb. I think I'll talk myself out of it, but I do think the bravest of us all will play it, and I definitely think that pricing wise on the books, I am interested in betting a Florida piece from this top line to do something in a parlay piece, or maybe there's something worth boosting here. I probably Bennett, but any thoughts you have?
No, I'm just reading the chat.
Yeah, it's off the rails, of course. If you're not on the YouTube streams enjoying the chat, then what do you do?
Stochastic. Mike Cat here weighs in. Stochastic first morning skate pod. Real heavy hitters here.
Dude, Josh made fun of Buffalo the other day. What a jerk! It's the best city in America. Just
coming
don't go
from
outside.
Someone who lives in New Jersey, that doesn't mean much.
Right. What are we even talking about?
All right. I don't know what you said.
Sam Bennett is shooting a ton. He's playing a ton.
He is. He is good.
He is good at hockey
now.
And he is a guy that I'm looking at for betting purposes. I think this game has upside. I worry about everything really, but Sam Bennett for a point going? Minus 150-ish. Yeah, let's keep going. We'll get out of here before we lose our mind.
Kaprizov, Hartman, Zuccarello, Tarasenko, Eriksson, Johansson.
Not for long.
We just saw Boldy back, right?
We did. I said it too. You don't listen.
I literally told you I was reading the chat.
Well, learn how to read and listen.
Okay.
Hartman's not going to be top power play anymore. Sorry, the chat. Eriksson, Boldy, Johansson, Foligno, Yurov, Tarasenko.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it'll be. Well, actually, let me just look at the last game quickly. Was Hartman even out there last game on the top power play?
He was, yes.
Okay.
Trennan, Sturm, Enos, Rosa. Great job, everybody. We did it. That top line is still interesting. They should play with Hughes Faber. I guess with Eriksson back and Boldy that might change, and they might do shutdown type stuff. So again, a spot where the pregame roster report would be quite helpful. I will say Boldy, Eriksson, Hughes, Faber, if that all sticks together, is 4 guys who are going to cost you 26.5K.
Yeah,
but have 50 expected fantasy points, and maybe like 45 actual. So a little interesting game stat or overstack type potential here. You could even mix in a Kaprizov if you like cheaper options on the slate. But Hartman, Zuccarello have been quite good, and I'm not sure that changes a ton with Boldy, Eriksson back. It's not like they're playing 29 minutes a night like Kaprizov might, but the other guys I think are just getting normal-ish roles with some production following.
Okay, that's fair enough. Sorry, I'm just this is interesting. This is a very interesting game now.
Yeah, I guess it is expensive across the board.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I am starting to spin the wheels on how I could play Minnesota or Florida. I don't think you could possibly game stack it. Ericsson's first game back hit 8 shot attempts, 5 on goal. Out there for 20 minutes, so very much right back to normal and even better. I don't remember what the Boldy injury is, but do you remember? Something else?
No, I don't. It says lower body, so
yeah, lower body. I just don't think it's going to be all that impactful. And the prices have dropped not only on DFS, but as far as shooting and stuff too. And like, is Florida a matchup you're scared of? I mean, it's getting tougher, but this is a team that's like, who's a great defenseman we need to play 20 minutes is Uvis Belinkis or whatever the fuck his name is.
All right.
Final. So I don't know. I kind of like Minnesota. Okay, let's move on.
All right. DJ likes Minnesota. Noted. Final game, Washington and Edmonton. Washington, Chychrun, I would deem him a game time decision. He got hurt late last game. Coach called it whiplash. That's never a good sign with the way concussions are handled. So keep an eye out for Chychrun news. If he's out, John Carlson's actually been quite invigorated as of late, or reinvigorated, I should say. 11 expected fantasy points, 11.5 actual. That's actually better than Chychrun over the same span, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, Carlson would be immediately the number one defenseman here. Power play, the whole shebang. They kept their line strange against Calgary, which ended up working, of course, but a lot of mixing and matching. Frank, Dowd, Ovi, Protas, Sordiff, Wilson, McMichael, Strome, Leonard, Duhaime, Lapierre, Beauvillier. I kind of like the Washington side of this game. We saw Draisaitl return, and they just got blasted by Pittsburgh. Edmonton has a lot of firepower offensively, but all season long, they've really not figured it out defensively. So I don't hate going back to the well with like an OV Carlson type build. I'm a little worried about minutes from McMichael Leonard. I wrote about it in my Friday newsletter, though that really didn't come to pass. OV, McMichael Leonard all played around 17, 18 minutes. So if you like these cheaper mid-tier Washington guys, I would not hate that idea either. But I think their top line is just Protas, Sordiff, Wilson. Like they're just going to roll, mostly together. They're playing the most minutes over the last 10 games or so when they're all healthy. Like that to me just feels like their top line. And for 15.5K, you're getting 33 expected fantasy points, 26 actual. So a bit of regression is inbound for them too, if they, especially Tom Wilson, keeps playing the way that he is.
I played the video on in my ears by accident. I was trying to look up how we move this stream to the stochastic guys when we finish, but I'm don't think I should have done this during our show. That's probably a bad idea. I heard everything you said. It reminded me of a lineup with 2% only on Draisaitl I played last Slate that failed miserably because back-to-back Pittsburgh, curb stomped the Oilers. So I definitely am in on what you're saying. I like the Strome, Leonard, McMichael line. It just that is a ringing to my ears type of listen. It is more expensive than I'd like to pay. So yeah, anything if Chychrun is out is just we're playing John Carlson. I don't even think we're thinking about what we're doing other than playing John Carlson with it. Like if there's no Chychrun, like look at the game logs when there's no Chychrun and there is John Carlson. I think there's 2 games, and I think it's something truly bonkers for Carlson's usage, and not just usage but shot volume. Everything about it was just rainbows and unicorns. I'm gonna look if I can find those games quickly. They weren't long ago.
All right. While you do that, let's just wrap up with Edmonton. I want to get out of here because I want to watch the other stuff that's going on.
7 shots on goal in the last game.
Okay. RNH, McDavid, Hyman, top line, Mangiapane, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, second line, Savoy, Roslovic, Howard, Janmark, Frederick, Lazar. Bouchard is 6,900, bit overpriced in my opinion. McDavid is 10.2. His expecteds have fallen off a cliff. He was up in the 20s, 18s range, and now he's back down to 12. I think he just started passing to Hyman more, and Hyman's doing his normal stuff where he's fine. But the prices are just really high here. And I'm not sure that even with Chikrin out, that like Washington's like this terrible matchup defensively. You are getting Charlie Lindgren in net with Logan Thompson going in Calgary. So that's about all I can say. But people obviously are going to be in on the dry side of it all. Edmonton is a big favorite here, so I do expect them to have the highest team total. So yeah, I'm just not that into Edmonton myself.
No, I mean, it really isn't the best matchup in the world. I do think it'll be piled on a good bit. There's not a ton of there's no McKinnon, there's no Matthews. There's definitely ways to get cheaper and stack through this team. Right. Playing another back-to-back game against a team that they're just going to be, the things are going to like them. The power play one last game was Bouchard, Hyman, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid back to normal, like we of course expected, but there was no more Wallman. He of course scored anyways, right? Didn't he score a goal? I'm pretty sure at 5-on-5. So is what it is. Can still get there, but we're kind of losing some of these ancillary pieces that we're adding a lot of cheap value. I know you're not a Podkolzin guy to begin with, but his price going a little bit up, and from what it was, $3K or below, and now it's like $3,500 for that short stint of not even coming to fruition, power play one and line one that just didn't even happen really. So yeah, I don't think there's anything here to lose any sleep over. I mean, you're playing Edmonton, you know how to do it. It's not very difficult. I don't think it's going to be popular to play McDavid and Draisaitl together, but that's how I would do it. Like, I'm just not going to the mat with McDavid without him, and I think that's the only way to really, win a slate more or less. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this one.
Well, let's do top sacks, guarantee goals, and get on out of here.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to cough, and then top stacks for me. Oh my god, I keep clicking the wrong button. Top stack, I think I already was pretty clear on one of them. I think it's going to be Winnipeg 1 for me. Morrissey, Scheifele, and Connor.
All right, I will grab Boston, Lindholm, Pasta, and let's do Charlie McAvoy, 4,700. Didn't really talk about him, but he's been quite solid this year. Shot rate to tick up over the past, and his primary point rate is like 40% better relative to the league than the past 3 seasons. So it's a McAvoy kind of night for me.
I think I go the other way on that game for my other stack and do the Slavkovsky, Demidov, Kapanen. Don't know how else I'm going to fit this nice and easy. So I really like that game in general. So I wouldn't even mind the game stack that you're sort of alluding to with that or whatnot. Second stack for you?
I will do Ovi, Carlson, and Strome.
All right. There is a goal scorer boost, so I will be betting this live. I think let's make it a little bit less and try to really pick 4 goal scorers that we really, really like. So why don't we try to keep it below plus 400 each for smart people like us.
So you're just going to yell at me when I try to pick Jonathan Toews, so I guess I won't be doing that.
Well, you could pick Jonathan Toews, and then you could pick anybody you want, and you'll be fine. All right, fine. 450, 500. Do you want to do 500?
I don't know. No. Okay. I want to maximize the boost. So,
how would you maximize the boost? Talk about that for 2 seconds. Okay.
Well, okay. You only get the boost if you win.
Right.
And so unless you have infinite amounts of money, then as long as you are sufficiently within the range of the bet, then you are maximizing your likelihood to win in this lifetime by picking good values, of course, that are of the more likely ilk to score.
Can you pull up the rainbow sheet for a second?
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably one. Yeah, interesting. Like, I mean, again, like what teams are looking the best, over in the trends. Yeah, Edmonton is one, even though we kind of talked about not loving them in DFS. I think it's more of the price comparatively. So certainly can include him in this. Tampa, I guess Carolina's there, but they're always there. Florida, Minnesota, that's a game I want to target. And then, Boston, Montreal, etc. Winnipeg isn't showing up, but I think I'm still going to just go. I like the idea of kind of the top guys being Connor and Pastrnak if you're on board there.
I certainly will not be clicking Kyle Connor myself, but
Why not?
Pastrnak definitely in.
You know where he went to college?
Michigan.
And who are they playing?
Detroit.
Is your second pick going to be the second? Unless if your second pick is actually Jonathan Toews. Is it Jonathan Toews?
No.
Okay. Connor, Pastrnak.
I think I'm just gonna do. I want Ovi. I want to pull an Ovi.
All right. Wow, that is a blast from the past. So what was his name? Like Bacon or something?
Yeah, Bacon Country.
Bacon Country. God. I'm looking at a couple options here. Yep. Not that game. Yep. I think the answer is. Honestly, I think the answer might just be Matt Boldy. It's either Boldy, Bennett, Kachuk. I don't know. I think it's that game. I like that game for goals.
Yeah.
Eric Sinek would be the
Boldy.
call, but he's might not be power play one. I think plus 180 on Matt Boldy.
Seems
the first
good.
Game back is pretty fun. So
yeah.
Okay. I don't know what my max is on that. 50. I don't think I'm going to bet a full 50 ducats on this. I'll do 35. Okay. The goals bet is in. Pastrnak, Connor, Ovechkin, and Matt Boldy. I mean, those are guys that love to score. We're not betting anyone insane here, but I don't know if there's any crazy. I mean, Slafkovsky probably the guy that would get the craziest on. Okay, more bets to be posted. I think we're at a good stopping point. I have no idea how to send this to Stochastic.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do it? Or
no, I do not. Go watch the Stochastic show. Tell them we sent you, and we will talk to you all on Tuesday. By the way, big slate.
Try to put the link in there. Yeah, I'll try to put the link in there. Oh yeah, Tuesday should be a ticket for me too.
Maybe, yeah, but it's the big spin or whatever contest it is. So we'll be back on Tuesday. Best of luck on Saturday, and be safe to anyone pretty much anywhere in America. We're just getting pummeled by snow and stuff. So go check out the Stochastic show. We'll be back next week. Peace.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.